Hey everyone, so the topic of this video was inspired by Christopher Nolan's recent film The Odyssey, which I'm sure you've probably heard of. I wanted to start off by giving my opinion, but I later realized that most of the things that have to be said about The Odyssey have been said. It is a decent movie overall, but the casting choices are super weird, the costume designs are super weird. He puts an emphasis on historical accuracy on some parts of the movie and just completely throws it out the window on others. So overall, it's watchable, but what I really wanted to emphasize about this movie is that it will probably be, and it's en route to be, Christopher Nolan's best-selling movie um, thus far, which really speaks volumes because the main currency of any form of media today really is rage. And a controversy, I propose, is a more fitting description of what is actually popular in media today. This movie really, in my opinion, even if it was done perfectly, perfect casting choices, perfect historical accuracy, which by the way wouldn't even be wouldn't even be harder to do. Like, it would just be a different costume design. The costumes wouldn't necessarily cost more. But that's beside my point. What I wanted to say is the only reason why this movie is doing so well is because both the haters of the movie and the fans are giving it a watch. And well, why is that? It's because it's so controversial, and that is kind of the main issue of art today. As cool as it is that you get so many people to watch your movie if you're Christopher Nolan, or in the case of any modern artist, that there is so much, conversation about your piece of artwork, our society kind of forgot that art is supposed to invoke the full spectrum of emotions and not just one single emotion that directly targets you and makes you want to say something. And what I mean by that is, if you ever took a scroll through Instagram Reels, and this is mainly for my younger audience, how many times have you seen a video and just immediately went to the comment sections because you already knew it was something super controversial? It was what they call rage bait. And how many times have you just rushed to the comment section to see what people, just absolutely losing their minds, writing paragraphs about the video? And as unfortunate as it is the currency of social media and of any media really today. It's controversy, it's rage, it's getting people mad at your, very provocative kind of opinions. And it just makes me kind of sad because the art of the past really did everything opposite of art today. It really invoked awe and invoked, a sense of inspiration and just kind of grandiosity. I don't know if that's a word, but it overall kind of made you have these good feelings in you. Whereas today, everybody is just picking the lowest hanging fruit, which is controversy, rage. I already mentioned all of the forms that people use to gain attention, and I will say it is the easiest way to gain somebody's attention. The easiest way to get the attention of a stranger on the street is to throw something at them. That will immediately make them enraged, and they'll probably rush towards you. But is that really the best way to get somebody's attention? you know um and I know there's going to be, in the context of paintings, there's going to be so many people that back up, maybe not in my comment section, but overall there are so many people that oh, if you're talking about the art, it means it made you feel something. Or when you tell them that my disabled 3-year-old cousin could draw that, they say, oh, well, why didn't he draw that? And it's we're kind of just throwing these stupid arguments that are completely avoiding the topic at hand, which is, the artwork looks bad. And just because something is bad doesn't make me not want to talk about it. I don't know why people think that the highest form of praise is somehow talking about something. And you really understand why any publicity is good publicity. You really understand where that comes from when you see that most of our media today, and this goes back a couple hundred years probably. This isn't anything new. If you look at newspapers, the sole purpose of a newspaper was to grab your attention. And what better way to grab your attention than writing something that absolutely makes your blood boil? Like a politician made a move that is just so completely stupid. Like that, if that doesn't make you absolutely read the paragraph, and once they've gotten you to read the paragraph or watch the Instagram reel or watch Christopher Nolan's movie in this case, they've already won. Because once you watched or consumed the media, that's basically it. But like I said, it is a real tragedy that art is being created to kind of invoke anger in you and not the full other spectrum of emotions, which can be so many things. It can be sadness, it can be hatred, it can be contempt, it can be happiness, it can be just jealousy, so many things. But we're really reverting to the most primal emotion, which is kind of this anger towards and animosity towards somebody doing something. And you really can't hate the player in this situation. You really have to hate the game, because as long as people are giving attention to these types of things, they'll continue to flourish, and there's really nothing you can do about that. As unfortunate as it is, even the best of us can't, resist watching Christopher Nolan's film. And obviously I'm making Christopher Nolan like this villain, but I'm giving the example that even if the film was much worse, even if it was even more controversial, even, poorer, I don't know, historical representation and whatnot, people would still watch the movie just because it's controversial. Just like that, those awkward art pieces, they'll get shoved in your face by the media, because the media wants you to see these things, and they want this kind of reaction. They want this, turmoil between people where they can't, most have one opinion, but then a small minority has another opinion, and then they kind of fight over it. And that's really kind of, at the end of the day, that's the goal of all artists. They want you to get to talk about their work. Like I said, the unfortunate reality is that most people will use any means necessary to get themselves to be talked about. And in this case, they resort to the simple-minded rage bait tactics. Now, obviously, I don't think in the case of Nolan that that was the reason why he made the Odyssey the way he did. I think it has something to do much deeper, like the woke agenda and whatnot. But like I said again, whether unconscious or not, anything controversial in today's day and age will do amazing. And Christopher Nolan's not to blame for it. The artists doing these types of paintings aren't really to blame for it. It's just an unfortunate reality that we live in, where you will always have people, including myself, give attention to these sort of things. And if you really think about it, if anything that was controversial just got immediately skipped, if you had a blue canvas that was set to sold for like a couple million of dollars and nobody really cared about it, in my eyes, I think this kind of would have fizzled away. Now, it wouldn't ever fizzle away, because, like I said, as with Christopher Nolan's movie, in the case of these paintings getting sold for millions, it's more of a money laundering scheme, like, more than anything. But even if it wasn't, people would still kind of, the trend of doing this sort of thing for views or for likes or for attention would kind of fizzle out. You have all these influencers on social media putting on these stupid personas that they aren't representing who they really are, all in the name of getting more likes and followers. And it really is just a shame. It really is a sad reality that most of us aren't really even doing what we want to do. We just have to kind of be this jester, be this clown in front of so many people, just because that's what gets all the attention now. I don't know why my light is flickering right now. It may be a signal for me to end the video. And yeah, I think I got most of my points across anyways. So let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.